Good day everybody and welcome back to more simple custom trees. There's half a palm tree here because I started it and decided it looked awful. Basically what it is, it's jungle wood arranged in a single sort of log to various degrees of sort of bending. And then at the top I've added these sort of, I'm not sure what you'd call these, are they fronds on palm trees? I guess they are. And they sort of arc over at first in sort of the standard positions of the compass, and then sort of some intermediate ones like this, just to give the tree a little bit more substance. This isn't a terribly good design. I wouldn't recommend using this, to be honest. There are better ones out there, but if you want to sort of scale this down, I could imagine it looking fairly successful. But anyway, we must move on to other things. This tree here. This sort of, well, it looks like someone hasn't had a haircut in quite a while. It starts off life the same as this one here. Oh, I just deleted a leaf there. That's going to annoy me for the rest of the day. There we go. It starts off life like this one here. It's just a single trunk, like this, up to a certain point. And then the trunk splits into some larger sort of branches like this. And then once, this is going to take quite a while to do actually, so forgive me rambling on, but this is going to take a little while to do. So getting the diagonals done. Diagonal branches are really cool. I love them. They're excellent. We don't want them to end up, don't want the branches to end up too far away from each other. And I think we'll come out in this direction here. Yeah, it needs to start life as a diagonal. It needs to start life as a diagonal and then straighten up, get away. So I think it needs to straighten up about now, does it? Yes, it does. So I want a fairly even spread of branches along here. Like so. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty decent. Anyway, what you want to do now is at the top of each one place a standard leaf like this, and then start placing sort of these wide discs around them like this, rather than the sort of small tufts you did on the other tree there. This is because this tree is a lot flatter and it necessitates a sort of flat canopy. I'm not sure what this is modelled after, but whichever tree it is modelled after right now is probably going to be crying at how bad I am at this. But never mind. So there we go. We've got this sort of weird African savanna type tree. I mean, you could use it as that design as well. If this were acacia wood, I think it would look quite good. So there you go. Accidental free tree design. Anyway, it's about just expanding the discs now in this same sort of repetitive shape. We'll deal with that in a minute, honestly, because regular geometric shapes are one of the things you want to avoid, unless, like I said earlier in the previous episode, you're doing sort of topiary designs. We'll just add a little bit of substance to the top of the tree here. We don't want stuff to like stick out at the top. We just want it to be sort of, well, flat like this. Oh dear, I'm getting a terribly sore throat doing this. I've been talking incessantly for like 20 minutes and I never do good. I never do good when I talk for long periods of time. So yeah, there we go. This is a tree. This is the start of this tree. And now what you want to do is you want to go out by one block from the disc, and you can place leaves under here like this. It doesn't really matter because you're not really going to see them unless you go underneath the tree, but you can correct that later, honestly. There's no real set way of doing trees. It's just sort of whatever feels good at the time, really. And this disc will have sort of, it'll be bigger by one again. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I think right now we'll extend that by 2. So it looks sort of, it looks a bit strange at the moment, but this is one of the trees where it's okay to build one section at a time and leave the others till later. At this point, I think I am going to start pulling down the strands. So we'll start pulling down a couple of strands from the top here, and we'll see what it looks like. Good to vary the length here. Have some short ones, some long ones. Good grief, guys. I'm sorry. That should be over here. Try not to make the fronds the same length. In the same sort of area. Oh, yeah, but there we go. I think that is successful enough. I think that looks quite good. I mean, I've really built this far too tall, to be honest. It should be a good sort of 3 or 4 blocks shorter than this. But the principal stands. All you have to do is build sort of like a dome at the top, and then once you've gone down about 3 layers, start pulling down these strands. Inside you'll end up with some very weird shapes in here, so just sort of fill it in as you see fit, really. Fill in bits that you think will make the tree look like it's got some depth to it. So if there's a particularly long strand, you want to fill in slightly more behind it, like this. And then just make sure it doesn't have too many gaps in up top here, because this is where the main tree structure is. You can have gaps in it if you want. Actually, that might look quite cool. Actually, having gaps where the sunlight can come through in like a shader pack or something. But yeah, that's the basic principle of it, really. And then just carry it on to each of these two here until you end up with something that looks a little bit like this. I'm going to take a break now and let my voice recover before I come back and tackle a large tree. Well, here it is, the last thing of my simple custom trees tutorial, and it's large trees. Now the large tree follows the same rules as this one here, this sort of the very first one we built. It's in the first episode, go watch it, except this time we're working with a tree which has a column, a set of 4 blocks in a square as a main trunk instead. This will take a while to build up, so I may just go with the top bit here. I'll show you a different example in my suburban world of a big tree that I built. Anyway, we'll have to imagine this is taller than it is, because I haven't really got time to do this. At the bottom, you want to have far more detail with roots and stuff. So we want a lot more detail here. Not too much that it's excessive, but just small stuff like this. Honestly, nothing drastic, nothing too major. Just stuff like that makes it look like it's really anchored into the ground. This is not nearly tall enough, by the way. This needs to be another like 5, 6, 7 blocks taller, but we're going to roll with it for now. Again, the same principles are here at work. The trunk will divide up into smaller ones, so we're going to do that now. Except we're going to the sections are going to be far more exaggerated. So these are going to be far taller. This one's going to go up more like that. This one at the front here will come out in this direction here. Trees are very intuitive, I find. Very, very intuitive. Either you like what you see or you don't. And there's no real sort of talent to this. It's just technique. It's all about technique. Building trees, I find, at least anyway. You can't really do a let's build tutorial on a tree, because you'd have to say where you're placing every single block, and with the amount of leaves involved, that's just not possible. So it's all in just technique. Anyway, that's what I find. But these are just some simple designs that I like to use in my let's builds. I'm rambling because I've got nothing good to say. Right, we'll leave it at that, shall we? That's good enough. Of course, that's very narrow, so immediately we're going to start adding big horizontal branches like this. This is what gives the tree its sort of bulk. So we can add big horizontal branches like this. They're all pointing in the same direction at the moment. That's not a problem, because we can add smaller branches to the big branches like this. And these can go up as well as across, maybe even go down as well. So we're just building a skeleton. We're just building a tree skeleton. Now then, that's a bit boring. So let's throw a change up here. Let's have one branch that say changes height, like that. This is just me replacing random blocks. I'm not going to finish this. This would take years to finish this one, because this is quite a big tree I've designed here. Nothing pointing down, so I think we'll have a couple of branches that maybe point down. I don't generally like to use downwards pointing branches. What I generally like to do instead is have branches that sag down like this, naturally, rather than just like pointing vertically to the ground. Because if you look at most trees, apart from maybe the weeping willow, they don't have that. So we need some stuff in the center as well. We'll just do this. Nope, not there. Yeah, here. Oh dear, yeah. This tree, it's going well. I quite like it. So here we go. That is a very, very rough big tree skeleton I've just built. Very, very quickly, I've just built a big tree skeleton. And it's totally intuitive where you place the branches. You try and fill the space as much as possible. This looks really awful. It doesn't look like a tree at all. But once you start placing the leaves on, like I did in the first one over there, one on the end, 4 surrounding it, on every sort of hub node like this, it starts to look a little more tree-esque. And then you just build and build and build and build the layers in, placing leaves where you think it needs it, and eventually you will end up with something, hopefully, if I can find the correct world. Oh god, I've got something in my eye, but I'll press on. Where the heck is this world? Here it is. Oh, spoiler alert, new project. Let's fly quickly away from that, because that's an unseen project. And let's fly over here to this tree here, which was built using those principles. This tree is fairly large. It's got, if we go inside it, you will see I have used the sort of same skeleton technique, and it's just about placing leaves where you think you need them. You can have hollow spaces, you can close it up completely. Like this one over here. This one here is closed up fairly well. And yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. Trees, everybody. Trees. Dead simple. These are slightly different. I built these in a different manner entirely. These are vertical trees. But I don't want to share that technique because, quite frankly, it gives trees that don't look terribly realistic, if I'm honest. So there we go. Yeah, this is the palm tree that I built as well. Might as well show you this. It's a bit naff. Don't use that. Anyway. Where's that project I spoiled over there? It's my other suburban house. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about trees, and the episode is over. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been at least somewhat helpful. Yeah, but I'm not going to pretend I'm the master tree builder. I'm not. There are probably better ones out there. This is just simple custom trees to make your builds look a little better. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.